Hi everyone, Big Pauly back for a brand new video. Yeah, back for something a little bit different today. I figured I'd just do a little conversation with you, talking about my physical media history, going right back to when I was a kid, really. I won't stay too long on the old VHS, but it's basically because last year or the year before DVD turned 25, so I want to address that, talk a little bit about my DVD history and where we are today. So yeah, let's just have a little casual chat. Okay, so going way back, and I'm talking way back to the 80s, we had a couple of video stores in Dover. We had one called Harlequin Video, which is just over the avenue from me now. And that is now a nail bar, a nail salon. Yes, but I used to walk over the avenue on a Friday, go and rent the latest videotapes. £2.50 for the weekend, I believe it was. So yeah, most of the time we spent doing that at the weekends. We also had one called Mill Hill Video in Dover. Again, £2.50 for a couple of days, 2 or 3 days. So that's how we used to rent the videotapes. After videotapes, we moved on to Laserdiscs. I didn't stay with Laserdiscs for too long because I was just getting into it. I was getting into Laserdiscs around about the time when Star Trek Generations came out on Laserdisc. And I believe that was probably like 1996 because the film came out in 94. So yeah, about 1996. And then all of a sudden DVD. Yeah, DVD was announced. But when it came to the Laserdiscs, I used to buy most of my Laserdiscs. There was a shop in Faversham in Kent, down past the old cinema. You kind of like went in, I think it was just like a clothing shop or a knick-knack shop, but you walked to the back of the shop and there was a back room and they sold lots of Laserdiscs there. So I would go to Faversham 2 or 3 times a week maybe, pick up the latest Laserdiscs. And that also happened with the DVDs as well, because they used to stock a lot of the DVDs. But moving on to that, when DVD came about, Laserdisc I only probably bought about 10 Laserdiscs. That was it before DVD came along. And yeah, I've got to get into this new format, this new shiny disc format. So I offered myself to London, decided to pop off to London to a shop called SRS Laser World. I'll stick a picture here, who were on Shaftesbury Avenue. And they were one of the first shops in London to actually sell imported DVDs and imported DVD players. And I picked up the Panasonic A100. This was an import. This was, I believe it was American. It was American converted, so it was a region 1, but I believe the player and everything obviously came from Japan because it had Japanese writing everywhere on the back. The instruction manual was completely in Japanese. The handset, the remote control was all in Japanese. And so it was literally a Japanese model that had probably been sent to America, redone with the regions to make it region A, because I believe back then Japan was region 2, the same as us. I could have been wrong. I can't quite remember. And then they sold it in Shaftesbury Avenue. And I'll even put a little video up here in a minute of my very first DVD player, because it's still in the storeroom in the box with a converter, the instruction manual, the remote control, and I did a little video just to show you that I still got that. great machine it was. Paid about £900 for it. I know that was the normal price for a DVD player back in the day, 900 quid when it first came out. Because it was so early in getting DVDs, I think I must have picked it up about March in 1997. It was either February or March 97 from London. Took it home. At that time, upstairs in SRS Laser World, they had kind of a cabinet on the back wall, like a shelving cabinet. Not very big, you know. I mean, from what I remember, a bit bigger than about a 40-inch TV size. And they had DVDs in there, and they were priced at about £35 for a DVD. Yes, that's how much they were back then. And I used to just come up to London every now and again, go to SRS Laser World and buy the latest DVDs. I've got a couple here that are some of my very early DVDs. And that carried on. I kept going to SRS Laser World for a long time, for got to be over a year and a half, 2 years. Maybe twice or three times a month. Eventually they moved all the DVDs downstairs, and they had like a big glass cabinet downstairs. But because they kept getting raided by FACT, you know, the Federation Against Copyright Theft, they used to stick the DVDs, the new DVDs, in some cardboard boxes and shove them underneath the counter. So that if somebody was coming down, pretending to be a member of the public, but they were really FACT, they wouldn't be able to see them on display. They were under the counter. And I bought many from down there. And yeah, I would go up there every couple of weeks, see all the latest DVDs, grab a couple, come home. All the time that was happening, I used to go into HMV in Piccadilly. Yeah, I think it was Piccadilly. There was Tower Records, wasn't there? There was Tower Records, there was Virgin Megastore in the same area, and then there was also HMV. And I used to go into HMV, and I used to go to the counter, and I used to ask the bloke, when you getting DVDs in? And he would just stare at me like I was stupid and crazy, because DVD wasn't a thing in the UK then. You know, nobody had ever heard of it. People were still on videotapes, and it was just like, DVD? Never heard of it. And he used to keep telling me the same thing. I used to go in there. I'm sure at one point he probably told me, oh yeah, we're getting them next week. But yeah, for months and months and months, probably about 6 months, I used to go into that HMV, say, when you're getting DVD, and they were like, what? It was so funny. It was so funny. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. And I believe it was about a year and a half before the UK actually got DVDs. And when I used to go and buy these DVDs from SRS Laser World, they only had 25 to 30 DVDs. I think there was less than 50 movies in existence at that time. It was so early. I was a DVD virgin. Yes. And I do have a few here. They're not all bought right at the very beginning, but these are some of the really early ones that I remember picking up. I do have some other DVDs downstairs. These are pretty much snapper cases, and these have been in the collection since then. So I mean, we've got Mars Attacks, brilliant film from Tim Burton. It's a little bit faded on the spine there now. I think it's a bit sun faded coming in our window, but this is one of the, I believe, one of the very first original DVDs that came out back in 1997. So this is 20, are we talking 26 or 27 years? 26 years. So this is a 26-year-old DVD. How many people can say they've still got a 26-year-old DVD? Yeah, and this probably cost me about £35. Now then, do you remember all that spew that was going around at one point? Oh, DVDs won't last. you know, in 10 years, you're going to get disc rot and they'll never play. Wow. Absolute spotless after 26 years. Absolute spotless. They're all like it. Oh, hang on a minute. He says, I don't know if that's disc rot, but something's going on with that disc. Or maybe it's the early start of disc rot. I'll show you in a minute. I've never seen that. Never noticed that before. But yeah, you know, with the old snapper cases, we used to get a really in-depth chapter listing like that. I used to like these. Yeah. Yeah, so and the DVDs back then, sometimes you would get a double discer. You know, you would have a widescreen version on one side and you would have a full screen version of the other. So I don't know if you can see this. Probably can't. Hang on. Let me just see if I can focus on the disc. You can see kind of like a washed out at the edges there. You can see that. Oh, hello, bird. It's just a bird appeared at my door, at my window. He's got something in his mouth. Yeah, so you can see that on the edges there. And again, it's kind of like a, yeah, like a washed out. Don't know if that is actually disc rot. I don't know. I've never noticed it before. But I could always try it and see if it plays. Yeah, but I don't know if that's the only one. So that's Mars Attacks. We've also got Vegas Vacation as well. And this was bought around about the same time, you know, within a couple of months. So this is just as old. Let's have a look at this one. Well, this one doesn't have it. This one doesn't have anything. This one's perfectly fine. Yeah, this disc is absolutely immaculate, apart from a little bit of splodge there. It's not a scratch, it's like a splodge. So yeah, there's no kind of like disc rotting effect on that. Definitely not. Yeah, that's cool. Also have the Postman as well. Now, I used to buy a lot of these snapper cases back in the day. I know it's very cheap. It's very cheaply done, but there was something about snapper cases I really liked. It's just very different. Also, they're easy to open as well. Yes, so then we get the Postman with look at the chapter listings that we used to get back then. And then we used to get really nice artwork on these as well. Yeah. This one, do you know what? That looks brand new. That looks like it has never, ever been taken out. Absolutely flawless. No marks on it. No dust. Flawless. I wonder if I ever played it back in the day. Maybe not. Maybe I've never taken the disc out of the box. Who knows? And also Spawn. And I think this was my first foray into spot gloss. He's got some spot gloss. Yes, New Line Platinum series. They used to do a lot back in the day. Yeah, and these are a little bit thicker because they used to have like extra fold outs. You know, you'd have a bit about all the film and that, and then inside it would fold right out. Chapter listings. I mean, is it a bit better than what we get now? You know, you don't get chapter listings included now. But I used to get some nice artwork and chapter listings. And again, another pretty much flawless disc. One side. This one looks like it's got a special features on one side. I think it's just special features. It looks like it's just special features. Yeah, and then that side. is just the widescreen version of the film. Yeah, so there we go. Yeah, so a couple of originals there from back in the day. I know for a fact that one is definitely about 26 to 27 years old, guaranteed, because that was one of the first batch that came out. But there was also, I think, Twister. I think Twister was in the first batch of DVDs back in the day as well. So that's pretty much my DVD history, and that went on, including going to Faversham after I was giving up the Laserdisc and I was into DVDs, going to Faversham every week to pick up the latest DVDs as well. So either Faversham or London. There was also a mail order service. I don't know if you could order on the internet back then because it was like dial up. It may have been an order over the phone. It was Laser Enterprises, I believe, and they used to send out a pamphlet, like printed listings in a book form of all the latest titles, and you could order them. Yeah, I think they were based in Essex somewhere, maybe. Laser Enterprises. I remember getting a couple of their books, a couple of their like monthly mailers or bi-monthly mailers. I don't think I really ordered much from them because I was always going to London and going to Faversham as well, and also London, going to Tower Records and Virgin Megastore, which was the massive one that was up on Oxford Street, and the flagship HMV as well. So that's when the UK started getting DVDs. I would just trot off up to there and buy the latest DVDs and come back, and I'd have tons of DVDs. And they've just gone over the years. You replace them with the Blu-rays when the Blu-rays came out. As soon as Blu-ray came out, I went straight from DVD straight to Blu-ray. And I've kept probably 30 or 40 of the original DVDs because it's kind of memories. Yes, it's memories of my early DVD collecting. And then the rest is history, straight onto Blu-rays, straight onto 4Ks, and that's it. Yeah, so that was my early foray into videotapes, VHS, Laserdiscs, DVDs, and then we move on to Blu-rays and 4Ks. So quite a varied little life of physical media collecting. Going back to the Laserdiscs, also I remember when HMV in Maidstone used to be down the main high street, I used to go in there upstairs and there used to be a rack full of Laserdiscs. And I remember that one of those days is where I bought Star Trek Generations. And I had the Pioneer D925, I think it was called. It was the double flipping Laserdisc player where it would play both sides, so you wouldn't have to take the actual disc out and turn it over. It would actually just play both sides, so it had two lasers, I believe. That was quite a good player. Of course, you did also have a couple of discs, whereas like Titanic or something that's really long, where you would actually have to take them over, so the film would be spread over like 4 sides, but you'd get 2 discs. But yeah, that was going back to my Laserdisc days. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little journey back to my younger days, in my early physical media. It was just playing on my mind when I went out for breakfast with Dad this morning, and I figured I'll just talk a little bit about it and see if it drums up memories for anybody else. Did any of you used to go to SRS Laser World in London, Shaftesbury Avenue, or buy from Laser Enterprises, or anybody locally? Did you ever find that shop in Faversham that had the DVDs and the Laserdiscs in the back room? Because I'd really like to hear some stories. But yeah, stick it down in the comments. Share your early DVD history and how you got into it, and when you bought your first player, your first discs that you bought, and that kind of thing. Because I'd really like to you know, read some other people's comments and interact, and maybe we can reminisce about, you know, oh yeah, I was there at the same time. Yeah, you never know, I might have been behind you and you might have picked up the last copy of Twister. Who knows? But anyway, I thought I'd just have this little chat anyway, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then give it a couple of thumbs up. Blah, 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 blah. Don't forget to subscribe, comment and share. And I noticed going back, now we get to the official YouTube crap. Yeah, I noticed a couple of days ago in my analytics, there's only about 60% or so that are actually subscribed. So there's a lot of people that watch the videos that are not subscribed. So if you are one of those people, hit the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. And, you know, hit the bell and you'll always be, you know, told when there's some Big Pauly goodness coming your way. Helps the analytics and all that kind of crap. Yeah, I know. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little video and I'll see you on the next one very soon. Bye-bye. Well, after I finished that video, I decided to put on Mars Attacks and see if there was any kind of disc rot, but happily say, nothing to do with disc rot. So I don't know what that kind of fluctuation is on the disc surface, but 27-year-old disc works perfectly.